The following non-nominated, non-award-winning program is rated D for dumb.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Well, hello everybody. Oh, wait a minute. There you go. Yeah, I gotta fake the applause, don't I? I should fake the applause. And fake it properly if you're going to fake it. Hey, Dave Canyon here. Welcome to the Dumbcast. Are you ready to dumb it down? All right, that's what we do here. This is Dave Canyon. I am your one and only solo podcast host of Dumbing It Down with Dave. Pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all during my commute. So you could listen to it and enjoy your commute, if that's how you do it. I am really, at this time, not commuting. I'm in my van, the Dodge Care van. Usually I'm in my 2008 Kia Rio LX, but I'm giving it a little bit of a break, and I'm using the van for really no particular reason. I am in Albany, New York at this time. Usually I'm on the New York State Thruway. We will do a mileage report. We will do a weather report in just a minute. But I just want to give you my whereabouts, and then I'll explain why I'm giving you my whereabouts for the newbies, because I always hope that there's newbies and all the people who have been listening to the show for the last 327 some odd episodes are sick and tired of hearing this, but I will make it quick. I am in Albany. I think I'm on what they call either Central Avenue or Western. I think this is Central Avenue. I just came from some boxing training here in Albany at a place called Shots Boxing. Shots Boxing, S-C-H-O-T-T-S, or maybe even a Z. I'm not really sure, probably an S. And I'm headed home. I got here about 6 o'clock in the morning. I left my house about 5, and now it is 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'm actually not even going home. I'm going to go straight to Planet Fitness in Kingston, New York. I'm going to do some weight training down there, so I got about an hour ride. I figured I'd, squeeze in a half-hour podcast. And because I haven't done one since like late November. Again, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Forgive me, podcast gods. Forgive me, audience. Forgive me, everybody, for I have sinned. I have not done a podcast since November 23rd. Why is that? That's going to be something I got to really look into. I don't want to talk about it now. I've mentioned it almost every episode. How come I'm not doing it like I used to, once a week, twice a week, once a week, twice a week? Why am I doing it like once a month or once every month and a half since I came back from my podcation? That's a good question. And I have some theories, but we're not going to get into it today. I brought it up because I got to be transparent. But I want to talk about something a little bit more pertinent, if that's the word, a little bit more appropriate, and what's pertaining to my life situation now and how it relates, maybe how you relate to it or how it relates to you, and so on and so forth, like we normally do. So that's what I do. I'm explaining to you where I'm at. And I'm headed home because I usually do this show on the New York State Thruway, which we will be on soon in about 5 minutes. I usually do it to and from work, for those of you who are new, because that's how we roll. I am not talking into the bottom of my phone. I've done that for many hundreds of episodes. I am talking into my iPhone earphones, whatever they call it, my AirPods. And I'm going to share with you what's on my mind. I hit the button, I record. And then I hit the button, I end the show, and I publish it. And that's the end of that. It's that simple. Pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. What does that mean? Well, I am a pragmatic. I didn't say that out loud to myself and deem it. I'm not self-proclaimed, although I am self-proclaimed a pragmatic podcaster. I was told that by a therapist many years ago, about 10, 15 years ago. He said, Dave, you're a pragmatic. I went, what? So I kind of came out. I came out, not of the closet, but out of wherever pragmatics come from. I don't know where they come from. I don't know if all pragmatics do come out. Maybe some people already know they're pragmatic. I didn't really know that. There was no reason to say it. Nobody said it to me, and until that very moment, I went, oh, well, that explains a lot. Yeah, I'm not really a bells and whistles guy. I'm pretty much straightforward, and I speak straightforward for the most part. Although sometimes on this show, apparently I don't get to it. I've done several shows where the theme is getting to it. So let's get to it. All right, and before we get to it, real quickly, let's do the weather report. And for those of you who have been listening for a couple hundred episodes, have an idea what I'm about to say. It is, in fact, January 12th. It is 9:05 in the morning. Also, I catch myself shouting. I don't know why I do that, because I'm like I think the microphone doesn't work, or I know that some of you are listening and are in a situation where you can't hear a normal podcast because their volumes aren't high enough. So you have to raise the volume, but your iPhone doesn't go that high. I've listened to the shows where I keep on hitting the up button, the louder button, and I still can't hear the host. So I talk louder so you can lower me, as it's easier to lower me than it is to raise me. Is that true? Do you agree? If you agree, put it in the Spreaker comments section. Say, Dave, you're right. It is easier to lower to you than it is to raise you. The volume I'm talking about. Also, that's it. If you want, you can write that. Or maybe you have a definitive solution to my audio issues, which I don't think I have anymore. I think this works just fine. Even though I'm in a Dodge Caravan, 2011, traveling at about 50 miles an hour. I'm on I-90. I'm about to get on I-787. And then from 787, I'm going to get onto 87 South, which is, in fact, the New York State Thruway. And I'm going to take that from Albany, and I'm going to head down to Kingston and head to Planet Fitness. So for those of you who have been listening, you know pretty much what I'm about to say, but not exactly. Because for whatever reason, folks, 300 and some odd episodes, when I do the weather report, I normally say something like, hey, the sun is shining and it's beautiful in upstate New York. Well, right now, it's partly sunny. I would say mostly cloudy. I'm looking to the west, to the east, where the sun is rising, 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it looks pretty good. But it's not warm out. It's like, 30 some odd degrees, maybe low 40s, probably high 30s. And it is winter time, but it's a nice day. So we've had our rain. We've had our snow. Why do I sound like one of those football coaches or one of those guys that have been yelling for 5 days? I don't know why. I should sound much lower than that. I don't know. Maybe because I'm so excited from doing my first podcast in 2 months. Anyway, I don't think I really sound like this. It doesn't matter. That's what a typical podcast does. I don't like the sound of my voice. I don't like the way I sound. I sound funny. Oh, is that funny to you? Yeah, whatever. Anyway, the sun looks beautiful. It's not orange. It's up in the sky. I would say about 10 o'clock. Even though it's 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm telling you that the sun is at 10 o'clock. So there you go. What a moron I am. The sun is in the sky about 9 o'clock in the morning. 9 o'clock as you were looking at a clock. And it's nice out. Okay, so it's going to be a nice winter day in New York, upstate New York, Albany. The mileage report. Let's do the mileage report real quick. Why do I do the mileage report? Because I'm commuting. I'm not at work, actually. I am on a furlough. Is that what they call it, a furlough? I'm on a leave, not a leave of absence. I'm on a layoff. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm on a layoff. Last year I was on a layoff, but much later in the year. Like between, I think it was February and April or May. This year, they let me go during right after Thanksgiving, like that week. And I was like, yeah. And a lot of people say to me, oh, I'm so sorry, you're laid off. Oh, I go, no, I campaigned for it. I want it. The first year I worked here, I did not get laid off. And in fact, they insisted they weren't allowed to lay me off, which was like, what? You can't lay me off? No, you're a full-time worker. I go, I don't get it. Isn't that what layoffs? I don't understand. Why can't? Oh, no, you signed up for full-time, so you work throughout the winter. But my company doesn't always have a lot of winter work because we do asphalt and we do, we do home heating oil. But 2 years ago, last year, the heating oil industry took a hit because it was a warm winter in upstate New York. This year, it's doing it again. It's a warm winter. Every winter, we don't do roads because we do asphalt. So this year, of course, no roads. 2 years ago, I did freight. They subcontracted me out to another company. So I would do freight with my company's equipment. Is this exciting or boring? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Anyway, I'll make it quick. So last year, they didn't have freight work for whatever reason, and it wasn't warm enough to do roads. Of course, it wasn't in the winter, and it wasn't cold enough to do propane or anything like that. So they laid me off, but it took a long time. They would bring me in for a day. I'd be home for 2 days. They'd bring me in for a day. Oh, it was horrible. It was like the worst ever. Anyway, it was the worst ever. Not the worst. There's a lot worse than that. But that was pretty bad. It was really uncomfortable, and I hated it. So they finally laid me off. This year, there was no fight. They didn't put up much of a fight. They said, yeah, you know what? First they said, let's revisit this like later on. I think they said revisit it during Thanksgiving. And then about a week later or a day later, I think my dispatcher said, yeah, you know what? Why don't you start filing? You should just file. And then by Thanksgiving, I was done. I was off. So I've been out of work, since like mid to late November. And I got to tell you, it's been 2 months and it's fantastic. So let's do the mileage report and I'll tell you what's going on. And I'll answer a question from the previous episode. I will answer a question that I posed to you. And let's see who got what right, and so on and so forth. So the mileage report is in the Dodge Caravan. By the way, real quickly, the Kia Rio, we're at like 327,000 miles. That's pretty damn good for a 2008 Kia Rio. That's a 16-year-old car. 16 years for a Kia? I think it's pretty good. All right, in the Dodge Caravan, I think it's a 2011 Caravan. My mileage is 129,140 miles. 129, 140. Yeah, let's celebrate mileage. Taking used cars and driving them till the wheels fall off. That's what I do. I'm a car owner and I save these cars forever. Yeah, I'm not one of those guys that changes cars every 2 years. I don't even know if I won the $1 million lottery. Well, if I won the $1 million lottery, the multi-million dollar. If money wasn't an issue, let's put it that way, because winning the lottery is so rare. But if money was no issue, I wouldn't go out and get another car. I like this Caravan. Would I try to get a newer model? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. The Chrysler Town Car is supposed to be a good, the Plymouth, whatever. Chrysler has a good van. Anyway, I like the van. I do. It's not a minivan, and it's not a daddy or mommy mobile to me. I love it. It's comfortable, rides great. I probably would get a Chevy Silverado, a pickup truck, and that would be great. Anyway, and the Kia Rio, I don't know if I get rid of that. I think it's a good knockaround car. I think I'd keep it. I think if anything, I'd bring it to a body shop, and I would clean up whatever there's very little rust on it, and I would just make it my car. Cars are not really that important to me. I do like cars. You know how guys like cars, and women like cars too. But you know how guys like talk about it, blah, blah, blah. I don't talk about it. I like them enough. I appreciate them, but I wouldn't exactly, quote unquote, call me a car guy. Anyway, so that's good. Good mileage, 129,000. So last show, I posed a question, and the question was, I said, hey, new things are coming. Something's is starting to happen. And it did start in mid-October. It started before I got laid off. But for some reason, I stopped. I didn't do a podcast about it, and I didn't do a YouTube channel about it, a YouTube show about it. I have Dave's Fit Life. For those of you who don't know, check me out on YouTube at Dave's Fit Life. So I gave you a hint. And the hint was it starts with a letter C, which is really a bad hint. It's just that I was running out of time, and, this is how I do my show. I just thought about it, blah, 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 and I just, all right, it starts with the letter C. So, I don't know. 1 in a million chance somebody would take a guess and tell me what it is. All right, so anyway, we're recording? I think we're recording. All right, so I had to pause the button because I had to go look at something. So, so I asked the question, or I proposed, new things are happening for 2024 or 2023, and I gave you a hint. The letter was C. And Linda Irwin, who's always so great and comments on all my shows and supports them, C for comedy, she wrote. Comedy segments, comedy guests, and that would make sense, right? C for comedy. So sorry, Linda, it was a bad hint on my part. Not your fault. You did great, and we should do more comedy segments and more comedy guests. But so in one way, yes, that is a correct answer. But it wasn't the C I was looking for, because it was such a bad hint I gave you. I wouldn't expect you to get it right. So here's what's happening. This is really fascinating to me. In the 30 years I've been with my wife, all right, it has been Dave Canyon who has been the dreamer. It's been Dave Canyon who brings home the ideas. It's been Dave Canyon, the husband, who brings home the get-rich-quick schemes. Like Fred Flintstone would bring home ideas to Wilma, or Jackie Gleason would bring home, ideas to his wife, Audrey Meadows, or whoever it was, Alice. But this particular thing, my wife somehow brought into our life the idea of being a carnivore. I don't remember exactly how it happened. Although I will tell you that back in the summer, for my job, I was doing something different as I was working on a crew, CREW, which meant that I wasn't driving, I still was driving a tanker, but I wasn't in the local Albany area, and I wasn't going home every night. I was actually out in New Hampshire, Marshfield, New Hampshire, and I was on a crew. I stayed in a hotel, and I still drove a tanker, but it was just different responsibilities. So anyway, and every day at the end of work, these guys, they're mostly kids, by the way, would gather around a pickup truck, because they had company trucks, and the trucks were pickup trucks with various pieces of equipment in the back. And the foreman had a barbecue, one of those little mini barbecues. Really cool, kind of cute. You attach to one of those green propane tanks, and you would have a barbecue, like instantly. Boom, no charcoal, just, propane. And these guys were buying steaks, man. They weren't buying, like, crappy, meat. They were, like, buying Delmonico steaks and so on and so on, sausages, and they ate really good every day. They didn't go to restaurants. They did drink a lot of beer. And so I drank beer for a while. I was up there for like a month and a half. And I have never eaten. I didn't have to eat with them, by the way. That wasn't, I didn't have to. I could have just went to my room, could have done my own thing. But I didn't know these guys. I'm working with them. I figured this is a good chance for them to get to know me. I get to know them. So, it's a little social life, a little bit. I had nothing else to do. I didn't have any more lawns to mow. I didn't have anything to do. Go to the room and watch TV. So I would hang out. And they were cooking all different meats. And then I told my wife, she goes, "What did you have for dinner?" I go, "You're not going to believe this. These kids, they got this barbecue." And I told them the same story I just told you. And they make these steaks. They make all these meats. She goes, "Really? Wow." I go, "Yeah, I got to tell you, it's friggin' delicious." But I was talking as if I've never had a steak before. It was really quite amazing. I was like, wow, it's really great the way they make these steaks. They put this seasoning on, it's called, some sort of two-step, some sort of Cajun thing. They call it two-step. I don't know. The foreman would make these steaks. Sausages, all different types of meats. Chicken. Anyway, I was like, man, I've never eaten so good. She goes, "Really?" But my wife's a great cook. I'm very fortunate. So it wasn't an insult to her. It's just that, no vegetables. Because she asked me, I go, no vegetables, just meats. She's like, "Really?" I go, "Yeah." And I don't miss it. It's great. So I don't remember the true story. I mean, that's true, but I don't remember what happened after. But at some point, we were in the house. I'm back home. It's like a month and a half later. I had all these different meat meals between then, and I reduced my bread consumption, but not intentionally. It's just sort of the way it worked out. I didn't buy sandwiches. I didn't buy sausage egg McMuffins. I was just eating meat when I could, and water. And I still was drinking soda, but I was trying to semi-consciously reduce all the things that were bad in my life. And I started to walk. There was this really great rail trail right behind the hotel. I mean, right behind it. And it was really beautiful. So I started taking these walks in New Hampshire. A month and a half goes by. I'm home. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but the next thing you know, my wife is putting on something on YouTube, and she starts talking about being a carnivore and whatever she was discovering, and people who I think she saw a truck driver that said he lost X amount of weight or whatever it was. that YouTube rabbit hole. And she went down that YouTube rabbit hole. And she's not a YouTuber. And she's not a rabbit hole person. Hold on, water break. So, I was very surprised. And she says to me, whatever she says to me, and I agree. I said, okay, I'll watch a video with you. We'll watch a video. Okay, wow, that's pretty fascinating. And yeah, I'm watching all these people talk about eating meat. I go, yeah, I ate meat all summer. That was great. For 6 weeks, I ate meat. And also, it was we watched videos about elimination diets, where you would eliminate all these other things and you would only eat meat. I said, that sounds appealing. I don't know how I would do it, but, you know, you mean no carbs? Yeah, no carbs. No sugar? Yeah, no sugar. No vegetables? No vegetables. Just simple chicken, steak, lamb, pork, fish, eggs. That. I say pork? Yeah, all of that. If it was an animal, I mean, you could throw in crickets, but I'm not eating crickets. If it was an animal and it was alive, right, and it walked, it crawled, it swam, that's animal protein, animal fat, animal protein. The fatter the meat, the more nutritious it is, as opposed to plant protein. So, the C stands for carnivore. And I've been eating a carnivore strictly. 100% eliminated everything. Strictly a carnivore diet since mid-October. Today is mid-January. We're almost exactly at 90 days, right? November, December, January. And I told my wife I would wait 90 days and I would decide. In the middle of these 90 days, about a month and a half ago, I had a doctor's physical. And I had a blood test. And I had my blood pressure and all of that. So I have a basis of where I'm starting from. But I know that my resting, fat weight, my resting obesity weight has always been in the 290s. And back in October, I weighed about 297. I just weighed myself at the gym here. Now, there's two scales, right? They're both like Detecto or Medico or those ridiculous digital scales, which I don't trust. But the one at home has me yesterday at 260. In the morning, it had me at 258. Just now, when I was done with my boxing workout, I was 258. So, basically, I'm down 40 pounds since mid-October. 90 days, I am down 40 pounds. And that is exciting for me. We went to an outlet store. We bought myself a pair of Levi jeans because my other jeans were getting baggy, ridiculously baggy and dirty and ugly and all that because I was doing yard work in them. And I bought a size 40, which is amazing if you consider the last 3, 4, 5, 10 years I've been wearing anything between a 46 and a 48, like a 46 stretch or something like that. So I am now down to a size 40. What's interesting about the size 40 is that my work pants are a size 40 and those I don't fit still. I can't even suck in my gut and put them on. But the Levi's, I was able to put on a size 40. I bought a pair of 38s because they were on sale at the same store. It was an outlet store. But I haven't tried them on yet. But I know that they were either extremely tight or I could barely, I couldn't get them on. So I don't remember exactly, but I remember telling my wife, let's buy these 38s because I'm here now. I don't want to come back. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to fit these real soon. And then the size 40s that I bought will be too big. So I want to share with you this whole carnivore thing. It's really kind of important to me. And this is worthwhile episode for me to do, and I waited so long to share this with you. I also didn't want to, there was part of me that didn't want to do this episode too much because if I didn't follow through, they'd be like, oh, there goes another diet that Dave did and didn't do. By the way, I am mixing this with intermittent fasting. So as of right now, I'm at 16 hours. I have not eaten since yesterday about 5:30. I think it was about 5:30. And this morning I made bacon before I left the house, but I didn't eat it. I cook bacon every morning for my wife and my son. And if they leave me any extra, I'll have it for, like a little snack or whatever they call it. I don't eat snacks anymore, by the way. I've also eliminated snacks. I've eliminated all sugar. I've eliminated all carbs. And when I say sugar, not just like sweet things, like ketchup, bottled sauces. They have not only just sugar, but they have other things like sucrose or fructose and anything that's a disguised sugar. I don't eat any oranges. I don't eat any fruits or vegetables. I don't miss anything. I'm never hungry anymore. I've learned that your body will feel hungry until you give it enough protein. Now, there are a lot of you who are listening who will say, I couldn't not have my bread. And I would say the same thing to you a couple of years ago. Or, back in September of this year. I would say, no, I love my rye bread with butter. When I go to the diner, I like my rye toast. I like my challah bread. I like all types of bread. But it turns out, we all know that white bread is garbage, and wheat bread is phony baloney. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physician. All the things I say in this show and future shows works for me. I'm not going to say it's going to work for you. Your results may vary. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, and I don't play one on the internet. I'm just Dave, the truck driver, who's on a layoff and is giving the carnivore diet. I don't even like to call I'm going to talk about that in a second. Giving carnivore. I'm just going to call it carnivore. Giving carnivore a chance. So, yeah, I eliminated the bread, the flour, the carbs, the sugar, and the sauces. I haven't had soda. I've had seltzer. I've probably had a little bit too much seltzer over the last 90 days, but I got to tell you, it's exciting to drink it. It really is. It's almost like soda, but with no flavor. And you could take some lemon, right? You could take half a lemon, you sprinkle some lemon in your seltzer, your sparkling water, whatever you want to call it. I do drink a lot of water, and I do have other drinks. I don't drink too much water. It's not like I'm peeing all day because I'm drinking 5,000 gallons of water. I'm not trying to flood myself. I'm not trying to drown myself. I'm drinking an appropriate amount of water. Sometimes I'll have tea. I don't know, not sometimes, but quite often I'll have green tea. And we'll get to that one day, why I drink so much green tea. I do drink black coffee now. I have been drinking black coffee, but every so often I'll have cream. I think I'll have half and half or something like that now, or heavy cream I think I'll have, but only certain times of the day. And I can't argue with the results. I've lost 40 pounds and I'm not starving. I haven't eaten in 16 hours and I'm not starving. I'm not even thinking about food. I'm not tempted by food. I've passed up cake. I've passed up cookies, during the holidays. I've passed up pizza. I've passed up all fast foods. I watch commercials and none of them affect me anymore. I see the pizza commercials. I see the Olive Garden. I see all the cheesy cheese. By the way, I also eat cheese, but I don't eat as much cheese as I used to. I don't eat cheese as a meal. I'll eat cheese as a condiment, like on top of a hamburger. I'll have some thin slices of cheese and have a cheeseburger, but I won't have chili. I won't have chili macaroni and cheese. Like I won't have cheese fries. I won't have fries. So every so often I'll sprinkle some cheese on my eggs, but it's really becoming far and few in between. There is protein in the dairy. Dairy comes from cow, so it is an animal product, but it's not the meat. And I think there is, part of the carnivore crowd that is absolutely anti-cheese, and some are like me, like, well, I'm not anti, but, I'm just not having it. Anyway, so we're almost done 30 minutes. I'm going to end this because that's really what I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share with you that I am, in fact, eating, carnivore. Hey, by the way, folks, if you want to leave a voicemail, 347-338-8487, 347-338-8487. And that, my friends, is the show for today. Thank you for tuning in to Dumbing It Down with Dave. Check us out on Facebook, too.